it is the very beginning of my journey at the moment. And then you can see my watch, and it's currently 3 a.m. My flight is in 4 hours, and I got 4 hours of sleep last night, so I'm incredibly tired. And because I was a complete idiot and decided not to bring my MP3 player, I am incredibly bored. I do have a book, The Cherry Tear, which I've been wanting to read for a while. I don't know if you remember, or if you've heard the story, but I randomly found it in a thrift store some months back. But as with all my book endeavors, it was delayed because of my insanely long list of books to read. But I figured that this was a good opportunity to catch up on some reading. Unfortunately, I am incredibly tired, and it's a very dense novel if you haven't read it. And yeah, that's all I can really say right now. But in however long, I'll be in Boston, and then hopefully I'm able to check into my hotel early because I'm going to need a nap. Yeah. You gotta love Pittsburgh. They put football players right next to the founding fathers of our country. That is Franco Harris, and that is George Washington. Yes, we are Steelers crazy. And though I do not like the term football as applied to the American sport, we are definitely devout. So I just rode down this entire moving walkway doing the Washington crossing the Delaware post because it's 5 in the morning. I don't have a lot to do. I'm kind of bored, but also having a lot of fun. I'm not bored. I'm actually having a real lot of fun just wandering around. So many things are closed. Like I wanted to see if the subway back behind me, way behind me, was open. It's not. But yeah, I'm having entirely too much fun. And also there's a Brooks Brothers store here, which I did not know. I love Brooks Brothers. I own one of their suits. It's pretty awesome. I'm having too much fun with this. It is 5 in the morning. I got 4 hours of sleep yesterday. I've been up since noon yesterday. I have to find my amusements. So I'm looking at the plane on which I will be riding very shortly, within a little under 2 hours. And I'm surprisingly not nervous about it, actually, despite my rather crippling fear of heights, and of course the general uncertainty and inexperience in such matters. U.S. Airways invited Philadelphia passengers. So that Brooks Brothers store I mentioned, it turns out it was directly on the path to my gate, interestingly enough. And as I turned the corner to walk down the long path to the gate, it just sort of happened that the manager of the Brooks Brothers store at that very moment was opening the metal grate to open the store for the day. And it took a lot of willpower to keep myself moving past. I did stop and kind of like look longingly, but I resisted the urge to go in and save myself, at the very least, a lot of time and potentially some money, although I think I would have been intelligent enough to know that this was not the right time. But you never know with me, and clothes. I like clothes a lot, in case you did not realize that. So I just landed in Boston. Everything went smoothly, both literally and figuratively, and it was pretty cool actually, even though I didn't have the window seat. As we flew in, I was on the side on which the harbor resides, so I had a really cool view of the harbor with the low sun sort of gleaming off of it. It was a breathtaking view, exultant. So yeah, it's Thursday night now. Fortunately, I was able to check into my hotel rather early and took a very, very, very nice nap. Very welcome. And I've just now returned from going swimming for the first time in a few years at least. It has to have been, I'd say, probably 5 years since I've been swimming. And I don't really know why, because I love doing it. I really enjoy swimming. I just hadn't done it for a while. And I'm a little aggrieved to discover that I cannot balance or float very well anymore. I usually be able to float with easily. Like I could just stay floating for hours, literally. And I wonder if it has something to do with my weight loss, but my legs just were not buoyant anymore. Or maybe I've lost the technique since it's been so long, I don't know, but I was a little sad to discover that. But still, I love the water, love swimming. Glad I got a chance to do it. So it's about 1:45 in the morning, Saturday night. I'm just back from the concerts. Jonathan Colton was amazing, as were Paul and Storm, and the video game orchestra were incredible as well. Last night's concerts were amazing. I mean, the whole trip's been pretty awesome so far. If you're wondering about the pipe cleaners on my head, they were passing those out in line. I think they were trying to make, I think the thing was they were trying to make like a big chain to pass like to the whole line, and I guess they had like extra pipe cleaners and they were just handing them out. And like people were doing weird stuff with them, and I tried to make a hat, and obviously it's a little, I've been wearing this for the whole concert, all 3 shows back to back. So it's kind of droopy anyway, but like it was never really impressive to begin with. I was kind of going for like a bicorn type thing, I don't know. Didn't really work out. And like a poofy thing on top, which is all, yeah. So, I want to bring this home because it's so cool, but I'm like afraid to like put it in my baggage. Like I don't want to like think it's like a bomb or something. I think I'm just gonna have to throw it away. It really bummed me out. Anyway, awesome night. Tomorrow I have to get up in like 5 hours, and that's gonna suck. Yeah. Later. So I'm home now. My weekend was pretty amazing, honestly. I didn't know what to talk about. It was kind of a learning experience too, because I've never really been to a convention like this, and I had to like, so I was kind of learning on the fly and like figuring out how to schedule out the panels I wanted to see and the games I wanted to play and all that sort of thing. Was kind of, took me a little time to get all that figured out. So I think maybe next year's PAX, or even maybe, I don't know, this year's later one in Seattle, the PAX Prime. Ooh, maybe, no, I doubt it, but I think maybe the next one will be a little bit improved just on that level, but that's not to say I had a bad time. I didn't at all. I had an amazing time, as I said. Just so many awesome things. The bands, like I mentioned, and the games I got to play. Like, they had 10 copies of Steel Battalion with the controllers, and if you're not a gamer, if you're not like really into the gaming community and the news and everything, that probably doesn't make sense to you, but that was a pretty big deal. There are only about 1,000 of those things out in the US, or maybe even I think I heard the US, not the world. I think they're probably more in Japan, I think, maybe, but the US versions, there are only about 1,000 of those, and 10 of them were donated by people who were going to the convention. And that was really incredibly cool. We got to play 5-on-5. That was, I mean, just to see the controllers was really awesome. Because I'll explain a little bit. The reason that they're so rare is because when it came out, it cost like $200 to buy the controller. And I think that's in addition to the game itself. And this was before the huge boom of like Rock Band and that sort of game. Like, I think Guitar Hero and that was out by then. But, you know, one controller, whatever. But like to buy like a whole set, the drum kit, the guitar, the bass, and another guitar for the bass or whatever, and the microphone, that was unheard of at the time, to spend that much money on these peripherals. So it was kind of ahead of its time in that sense. And maybe if it was released now, it would have a slightly different fate. I don't know. But it's pretty damn awesome, and I was so glad to check it out. And just the panels, the Penny Arcade guys, endlessly amusing, entertaining, and insightful as well. Not just, and the questions people were asked were really interesting. Some were really funny. Some were really touching. I mean, there was one that a woman who explained her experiences in hospital when she was a child, and how playing video games helped her, and that was a point she was making about their Child's Play charity, and that was, I mean, she was crying, a lot of people were crying, I was close, and I don't say I have to be manly or anything, I'm the first person to admit when I cry. I was pretty damn close. Like, I'm actually, like, if anything, I'm like more ashamed I didn't cry, like, you know what I mean? But yeah, it was really touching, and different stuff like that, and yeah, it was just the people, obviously, just everyone was having such a good time. Anyone was down to chat, to game, to just sit down and be like, hey, you want to play? Yeah, sure. And it was just to be amongst your own kind, so to speak. And the community, of course, is what really makes this thing so special. And it was great. And I'm home, and I'm tired as hell. Did not get a lot of sleep. But I don't think there's very little that I would change if I had the chance.